everyone. It's Tuesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Obiajilu Olabisi Ubu, and with me are the ladies. Hello, YK in the building.
Yo. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, ladies.
How you doing today, Mama?
My network, you know, those who know my number will know what my network is. They are cheating me.
Wow.
Chopping my money. Yes.
Hey.
Yes. I got a message from them that, oh, my data, I only have 500 MB left. I had like 3K on my phone. So I bought another extra 4K.
It disappeared.
Within seconds, though.
Oh, wow. No, something is wrong now. You have to...
I called them. They said, it's because I'm doing Google. I said, I don't have Google plan. The Google plan is my daughter that does my Google plan for me. But I'm a 63-year-old woman. Where will I know anything about Google plan? I said, I beg, please. They say, it's your, not Google, iCloud. Okay. iCloud. Then Google and iCloud. I said,
what
please.
What are you backing up?
That one not even finish. I come, because I needed money on my phone. I can't put another 4K. Pick up my phone to make call. They say, all my money is finished. I called them again.
No, something is wrong.
Do you know that they cut off the phone when I was talking to them? In the middle of the... I'm going to write... CPC has to query them.
Yes. Yeah. That's wrong.
11,000 in one day.
That's ripping off. What's that?
Pure and simple. And this is not the first time they've done it. Yeah. They did it about a month ago. There's
one particular network I don't use anymore because they've been ripping me off. I complained. They said nothing was wrong.
Which one is that one?
I don't want to mention it.
I know.
No, not the yellow one. Color? The green one. So I cuckoo stopped. I've not even loaded again. Nima, how are you doing?
Shock of what YK is going through happened to me. It's the yellow people that did my own. They clearly, it was army robber they did. And they refused to investigate it for us. So I've just moved
to another network.
You know, I'm on the verge of porting.
No, you can port. Nobody can come and stress you, I beg.
To the one that you just left. But now I'm hearing your own.
I think so. Is that CCP you should do? But I want to shout out to Salam Adedoja Salam Adeni on her
Today's her birthday.
Achievers Award from City People. She got an award yesterday. Our big sis. Congratulations. I saw the video.
Yes, she does.
You know, she's refusing to age you. Now your drills.
I love her investigative and her and Ivy.
They are very good. They're very good.
Man,
whenever there's a mic in front of somebody at the police station and I hear Ivy's voice.
You want to listen,
The other one is Betty. I think her name is Betty too. She goes into all those places.
That's Sarah.
Sarah.
They're all good. My wife. They're doing amazing. Congratulations. Miriam, how are you doing?
Doing fine. So, Mrs. Margaret Alabi sent us avocados. Remember I talked about how I had gone to the market and the avocado prices were over, so she sent us avocados.
Did you bring our own?
Yes, I did.
Hey! That's plenty because I really need avocados.
Well, it's quite a...
This one, because normally it's avocado juice I drink.
Okay.
But I didn't have today.
Beautiful, round.
Thank you so much.
They're not ripe yet, so you have to keep them for a few days.
Okay.
It's better that way.
You know how they ripen at once.
Yeah.
So if you have plenty.
And they're supposed to be very good for losing weight too.
Yeah, so I bought 2 yesterday, but how many are we getting now? So I'll add it to my collection. I woke up this morning and 3 people actually added me to 3 WhatsApp groups, and I was vexing. I think we need to start teaching online etiquette, right? You don't just wake up and add people to WhatsApp groups. You ask them, I'm creating a group for so and so reason. I would like to add you. Then the person will say, okay, go ahead, or I don't like WhatsApp groups. I just woke up and I saw 3 WhatsApp groups.
Just remove yourself.
Oh, yeah. So you remove yourself and I'd actually talked about it with the ladies the other day and Tokwe told me that you could set.
I've been trying to do the settings.
So I did the settings.
Okay, you can help.
When you do your settings, the only problem with that is it's not everybody. It gives you a certain amount of people. So the people that are not inside that, that they can add you, they can add you.
Are you sure? Because what my settings says is that no one can add you without first sending you a private message.
Yeah.
That's the same
for everyone. Okay,
I will show you.
Check. For me, so I pick for everybody.
Yeah.
Nobody.
So they have to make a request and then you accept or not accept. It's just painful. People need to learn. There's also another one, but there's no time for that one.
There's one that is happening in WhatsApp group where people will go into school WhatsApp groups and pretend they're someone part of admin and they're collecting money.
Oh.
You know, I'd heard that my friend had said that it happened to her, and then recently, you know, I saw another case. So this is what they do now. They just go into a WhatsApp group, reach out to you that the school is trying to raise this money, blah, 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 blah.
And then you transfer money thinking you're doing it for the school.
Exactly.
No, that's wickedness.
So please, for those of us,
it's
now a trend to get messages claiming to be somebody. If somebody is asking you for money on any WhatsApp message, ensure you call the person you think it is.
Yeah,
before you
very important. Let's take a short break now. When we come back, we take the newspaper reviews. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We'll be starting the newspaper reviews with The Nation. That is an advertorial here. So we're just going to move away from that. Wage, Federal Government Labour Science Pact. And I'm sure you guys took stories from the papers. Yes. Okay, so what stories do we have in The Nation? Who's ready to go?
I have the consumer body, the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, the FCCP, have started a step they call Don't Burn Their Future, a campaign against underage tobacco access and use. And this is so welcome. I jumped on it. They said it aligns with the objective of the objective
That's
of
FCCP.
the... Yes,
that's the movie I shot now.
It's because of you I took it. I said
Thank you.
You know, it aligns with the objective of the National Tobacco Control Act to protect the youth from the danger of the use of tobacco. And so the FCCP also launched a television series to curb the access to tobacco products by minors, which we see was a main...
Faith and Fortune.
The series is named
Faith and Fortune.
It reiterates the Commission's commitment to implementing the NTCA and safeguarding the health and well-being of young people. It debuted on DSTV on Saturday on DSTV Showcase Channel 151 at 6 p.m.
Yes,
to repeat every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. If it's for everybody, it should not be on Showcase. It should be on the African Magic Family.
Yeah, I think there's a way they step it down from Showcase, it moves to Family, and then to the other one. Yeah.
So they have it like that, and with the TV series, hopefully they will create the awareness and that. But I want it to be on every platform to get on, because it's a very strong, very important message that we need at this time.
They have plans to do that. They have plans to do that. What other stories do we have?
I took the one about the assailants kill a middle-aged man in Ondo. His name is Seidu Jamiu. Apparently, they broke into his house and they hacked him to death with machetes and in the presence of his wife.
Ew.
The police say they don't know the people yet, but it was reported by the wife. So they said, the PPRO says no arrest has been made, and they can't confirm that the victim's wife killed him. So they are now suspecting
the wife.
That, but because it was her that complained about the incident. But I think, you know, that's why people run away from reporting
issues like this.
Yes, because when you become this, when the reporter becomes a suspect.
Wow.
Yeah, I have health experts have called for global collaboration to tackle the increasing cases of sexually transmitted infections. So experts at a webinar titled Global Trends and Prevention Intervention was organized by International AIDS Society. They're discussing the urgent need for effective interventions to combat the spread of STIs worldwide. And some of the methods or strategies that they're asking is to promote safe sexual practices, increase access to testing and treatment, and destigmatize sexual health conversation. That is so important because, you know, we don't like to discuss that because just asking questions already, you're labeled a certain thing, and that is perpetuating the spread of STIs. They're asking for comprehensive sex education, condom access, regular screenings were identified as key components of these strategies. They also said that globally, the numbers are rising, you know, of people just getting STIs. We have over 1 million curable STIs acquired daily by individuals aged 15 to 49.
Whoa.
And they're talking also that, you know, there have been estimated 374 million new cases of curable STIs, which include chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis, trichomoniasis. Around 8 million people in this age group were infected by syphilis. So there are also better vaccines, they say, for gonorrhea and better treatment strategies as well. So please, let's have these conversations. Let's have regular screenings. These are not the terminal ones. These are the ones that happen every day that are curable. And if we don't get tested, if we don't have these conversations, we'll just keep suffering these things.
And we should not be in denial, thinking that these people are abstaining. Nobody's abstaining anything. They're collecting, so let them collect rubber. I have a story here. Payment to depositors with liquidated Heritage Bank, having 5 million and below will begin on Monday. The Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation said yesterday. So Heritage Bank has been liquidated, meaning the bank has closed. Now they are saying people who have money in the banks will be receiving their money. So depositors with more than 5 million will have to wait for their balance until assets of the liquidated bank are disposed of and money generated so that they can get paid. The Central Bank of Nigeria, the CBN, was the one that revoked the license of the Heritage Bank. And according to them, they said that by the CBN spokesperson, Hakama Sidi Ali, he said the bank's board and management failed to improve its financial performance, posing a risk to the financial stability of the country. Despite various supervisory measures taken by the CBN to help the bank recover, Heritage Bank continued to struggle without reasonable prospects of recovery. And that was the reason they had to close down the bank. Yes.
It was also gathered that, you know, they had a very poor performance and they had very lax attitude towards banking services. They had a lack of due diligence. They had plenty non-performing loans and it was reaching a very frightening height, and no strategic blueprint on how to recover monies. So, you know, this my paddy.
What worries me about that kind of thing is, could they not have done it in a way that whose money, depositors' money, they will not start to panic? Because now, if I had account with Heritage Bank, I won't even come to work.
What they have done,
pressure would have to be
right there. Now, I go just go sit down.
What they have done is secure, because they say they have at least 90% of their active loans portfolio, about 700 billion, that are considered lost.
Hey.
You know, you cannot continue to keep money there. It's better as they do it like this. Access whatever is left and make sure that, you know, through the AMCON and Co, go into the asset and make sure you pay back depositors.
I just feel...
Imagine my 5,000 in that kind of bank.
They said that it's only people with less than 5 million that will...
They will get their money first. But the other ones, they will spread it across. So we're just hoping they are able to...
No, this is not Savannah era. You get your money.
You get your money. Hopefully.
Not Choose era.
Not Savannah Bank era.
Let's move on to the Punch. Major headline. Federal government offers over 60,000 naira. Labour may end strike. Negotiation panel to meet daily. NLC, TUC, ground schools, banks, and power grid. I'm working to improve quality of life, Tinubu. Heritage Bank, NDIC begins refund. Highest depositors get 5 million naira. Foreign reserves fall by $1.8 billion in 10 weeks. Water from Benin. Border agency rescues Ogun communities after Punch report. Nigeria, UAE face-off settled. Visa issuance begins soon, according to the federal government. One story, and then we'll go on a short break. Who is ready to go? Punch.
Okay. Our president has reaffirmed that his administration's, his administration is committed to improving the quality of life of Nigerians. And he said this at the unveiling of projects in the FCT. He says that the projects that are being commissioned and unveiled is testament to what can be achieved through renewed hope. He was being represented by the vice president, and what he says is, I reaffirm my administration's dedication to enhancing the quality of life for all Nigerians. What is unfolding the FCT is the testament to what can be achieved through the government's renewed hope agenda of quality transformation of the FCT and indeed Nigeria. He says that issues undertaking hold profound significance for the FCT's residents and also a function of the Outer Southern Motorway will not only alleviate transport congestion and improve transportation, but it will also stimulate economic growth and create opportunities for prosperity. Also commended the FCT minister, describing him as a force of nature. So all in all, it's just saying that the work that's been done, what we see in the FCT is just, you know, a snippet of a lot of things that we're going to see going forward, which will improve the quality of life for Nigerians. Okay. Yeah.
We'll take a breather here. When we return, we continue the newspaper reviews. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back. We're still reviewing the Punch. Are you ready?
So I have the Punch reports that, our external reserves fell by 1.8 billion in 10 weeks. The Punch has records of how external reserve that stood at 34.4 billion in March fell to 32.69 billion and continuously has been falling like that. We lost, as of May, we lost 1.8 billion. This decline signifies a drop from the 36.1 billion recorded this month. So the reserves has continuously declined steadily, and the total decrease since February is about 34.4 billion that we've lost. The experts, according to them, attributed it to a combination of factors, including debt repayment, our significant decline in oil exports, a decrease in our foreign investment, and of course, rise in our imports. As you know, we are an importing nation. And the CBN has these records. The Apex Bank, as of January 2024, our debt repayment recorded by the CBN stood at $560 million, reducing from the 2.83 we had in February. Steadily like that, these external needs have continued to affect whatever we have saved. I hope that we're able to stabilize soon.
Do we have another story?
Yeah, so about the water from Benin Republic. They said after enduring years of hardship and suffering from waterborne diseases caused by lack of access to clean water, 5 Ogun agrarian communities finally found relief as the federal government, through the Border Communities Development, intervened and drilled a borehole for them. So they've given them borehole water. Apparently, they used to walk long journeys to Benin Republic.
Potable water across the border. So the border community, if you see the video, very heart-wrenching one. So they had to go to their small ponds and fetch water. And if you see the water they are fetching, the same,
not clean.
Very, very stagnant and polluted water.
So they were just getting
Punch for that report.
So Punch now reported it on Sunday, April 2024, 14th of April. So it was then that the border responded and built the boreholes.
Oh, wow.
I wish, well, I'm glad that they responded, but I wish people would respond more, because the last one I saw, I think it was on TVC today or yesterday, was this dam that
overflows.
Yes, in some Isheri North communities.
Is this one now?
Flooding the area, flooding it.
Every time, happens every year.
So they have gone to go and build a concrete wall with concrete blocks, but they can't afford the real concrete that will
help it. Okay, so I took the major headline. Say there are many indications that the organized labor may end the strike over the new minimum wage. They said they reached an agreement with the federal government yesterday. After a 6-hour meeting in Abuja, they said the federal government had expressed the commitment of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to increase the minimum wage above 60,000 naira, but they've not given the figure yet. So the meeting, they said, was held in the office of the Secretary of the Government of the Federation Monday evening, and it was aimed at resolving the impasse where they had, met themselves. And after extensive deliberations, they said they reached several key resolutions, which we have not heard yet. So there's also another meeting, but the organized labor is saying that they too need to have a meeting with their own organs to decide if they are going to step down the strike or they will continue. But they definitely will hear from the presidency on the amount that they're going to be paying the workers. There's supposed to be another meeting today. Let's see how that goes. But everywhere has shut down. There is no light. This morning, the queue for fuel. After the show, now I'm going straight home because I'm managing no kurukere waka, nothing.
One of these
because I don't know how this is going to.
I have reports.
Last.
All the stations to not sell, and I know they're halfway. I'll not say their name.
Strike now.
Let's strike, actually.
I say, are they inside the strike?
Okay.
Let's strike. Let's
Maybe
move
you
on
they
now
support
to
the strike.
I'm
Daily
in
Sun.
support
You
of
heard
the
her
strike.
yesterday, Abby.
I heard her. Don't mind them.
Daily Sun. Federal government Labour decide new minimum wage in a week. I've taken that story. Bad loans, poor due diligence cost Heritage Bank's license. We've taken that story. Fear grips Makurdi as herdsmen attack and injure 6. And I'm sure we have some other stories in the
Yes, I
Sun.
do.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I have the Abia State government has said Governor Alex Oti was not in support of IPOB's sit-at-home order. And this he had to say against the backdrop of a statement that had been circulating where the governor was said to have spoken through his special advisor on media and publicity and was alleged to have supported the sit-at-home order. So we have the State Commissioner for Information and Culture, Oke Kanu, says that the attention of the Abia State governor had been brought to, this widely circulating statement. And the governor is, I like to use their English, has this Abia State government hereby categorically and unequivocally states that His Excellency did not make such a statement that has been attributed to him, nor does it reflect his personal views or those of the Abia State government under his leadership. It says even though the officer in question has said he was quoted out of context, the governor has ordered a full investigation into this egregious comment, which is at variance with government's posture towards IPOB and other organizations or persons seeking to obstruct the rights of citizens' freedom of movement. I think it was important to put that out.
So we have another story in the Sun. I have one here. So in Makurdi, some parts of Makurdi, the Benue State capital, yesterday they said suspected herdsmen reportedly attacked the Ansa community in Makurdi local government area of the state. They said about 10 people were injured at the attack, which took place in the morning. The Ansa community is located about 5 kilometers to the city center. And, they said, as at the time they were writing the report, they said youth had blocked the road for several hours to protest the herdsmen attack. A resident of the community, told herdsmen that they came up, told, the newsmen that the herdsmen came about around 1 a.m. and started slicing their victims with machetes. So they came in the night. Some people still hang out selling things. Those people that sell drinks and noodles, and they just got them and started slicing them. And about 6 people were terribly injured, but they did not mention anybody died. But they had rushed them to the hospital and they were taking care of them. So, people have been speaking up about it. I think the PDP, the political party, that's the PDP State Publicity Secretary, spoke up about it, said that this is a very sad incident and was blaming the fact that there's no law that has banned open grazing, and that's why they still have some of these things happening in Benue State.
You sure it's not their mineral resources?
I don't even
Yeah,
know.
I think
Do we do leadership?
What they do is, when they come there, they now take over those communities. Those communities have...
They have free access.
Yes.
Out of fear, nobody
Get in.
confronts them.
Yeah. So we're taking the leadership today. Everything here is adverts, but I'm sure you took a story inside.
From
Let's
inside.
go.
So I like this story. This is the Federal Road Safety Corps. We have the Federal Road Safety Corps Marshal, Madan Shehu Mohammed. He has urged Nigerians to embrace cycling for healthy living and transportation.
No wonder you like it.
Yes, I had to take it. I like what he said. He said that it is the only individual means of mobility fit for all residents, irrespective of age, gender, and class. He emphasized the use of bicycles as a vehicle for promoting health, preventing disease, promoting tolerance with a sense of community, mutual understanding, and respect. And he's also imploring relevant authorities to create enabling road features and an environment that would aid stakeholders and general motoring public in advancing bicycle use.
Yeah,
so he's just saying,
for you.
yeah, no.
Motor go jam me.
But I like, this is good conversation.
No, we need
to
good
have.
rules
Yeah.
for that.
But as he said,
You can ride in London.
Do we need
Or America.
no, there are some places in Nigeria as well. Maybe not in Lagos.
Estates. No, there are estates that you can...
My
People who stay in estates. Me, I don't stay in estates.
My estate,
Is it our road that
People that come to my house on their bicycles.
Are you serious?
Yes.
You stay in an estate now?
No. Outside my estate. They come from wherever they come from. On their
to ride inside your estate. If they go and ride on the road, downfall will just carry them and just deposit them.
Okay, that is the situation today. But what they are talking about, future.
Okay.
When they have done the road, let's start with the road first.
Yes, make it conducive for us to be able to ride the bike. I would love to ride a bicycle.
Yeah, I would.
I don't
even know how to ride a bicycle.
I have not. I need to learn.
But I will not have the stationary bicycle in my house. I'm looking at myself in the mirror.
Our final paper for today,
Hey,
Vanguard. Labour shuts Nigeria's wage talks resume today. Let's take the stories we haven't taken. Nama MD wants reversal of 50% IGR deduction in interest of safety. Who has that story? So
the MD of Nigerian Airspace Management Agency, Engineer Farouk Ahmed Umar, has appealed that there should be a reversal of the 50% deduction from the agency's IGR, internally generated revenue, in the interest of air travel safety. He's saying that there's no parking space in the sky. That will make me laugh. He was speaking at the headquarters of the agency in Abuja. He says that NAMA, as the heart of the aviation industry, was tasked with the critical responsibility of ensuring safe conduct of flights within Nigeria's airspace, including the Gulf of Guinea, and that to fulfill it, NAMA needs all, their duty to maintain advanced safety critical equipment and recruit and train personnel to meet national and international safety standards, as outlined in their Civil Aviation Organization, the ICAO. And it says they need all their revenue, all their money for this to be done. So is appealing that the 50% be reversed.
Okay. Thank you, ladies. That's all we can take on the newspaper reviews. When we come back, we look at the top stories for today. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Outfit, you insist on making sure that the surrogate is anonymous, right? So, yes. The parents don't know who the surrogate is. How is that a good thing? How is that better than having someone that you know, and then also having them involved in the process?
Okay. Familiarity, they say, brings consent.
Okay.
Even if it is your family member that carries pregnancy for you, you get to see some attitude sometimes, because I hear a lot of these stories from...
Or you even fear some attitude because, certain excesses will come up.
One woman had to relocate from Port Harcourt because our hospital insisted that she follows through. She followed the surrogate mother to the hospital. So the surrogate mother got to know her so well that, she started embarrassing her everywhere, in the church, in her workplace. So she had to relocate from Port Harcourt to Lagos.
The surrogate mother was?
Yes, the surrogate mother was all around, just making sure, extorting money, all that. So these are the kind of things we try to avoid when we say an anonymous surrogacy. The agency is there to look after the surrogate mother, ensures that she's compliant, ensures that, she's cared for. And nobody is exploiting anyone, okay? So, honestly speaking, doing surrogacy, when you want to do it, then it's better you do anonymous.
So the rights of both surrogate mother and the parents are protected.
So that's why I wanted to come in. So you mentioned the contract, and I'm wondering, sometimes when you enter into a contract on your own, maybe somebody else prepares the document and you're made to sign it. You have these fears as to, what exactly you'll be getting. That's for the surrogate mother now. How do you, as an agency, take care of her side? What would you say, this and these are the things that you would take to, to be in her interest? as opposed to the interest of the parents as well. You know, in this kind of relationship, something must give eventually if they knew each other. You know, knowing that, for instance, the parents of your child are even more well-to-do might increase your appetite for things. And pregnancies differ from person to person. She might not even foresee, you know, certain pregnancy or gestational issues around the pregnancy. Maybe she's required to be on bed rest. She's required to be on BP. Maybe you know, anything can happen before that she wasn't aware of before she went into the contract. So what are the things that you'd say you'd ensure are in that contract in the interest of both parties?
Okay, first thing is the medical care available for her during pregnancy. Because, like you've rightly said, anything could happen in pregnancy. Morning sickness could come up during first trimester. Okay, so if she's not, if there is no adequate medical care for her, then, you know, she might run into problem. Okay, so a surrogate mother wants to ensure that she's medically cared for during pregnancy. Also, after birth. In our agency, for instance, we still care for them till 6 months after birth, medically. Good. Okay, so you want to ensure that, because after birth, medically, stuff could happen. So you don't want to work with someone or an intended parent that says, after you have given birth, that is it. You don't want to work with such person because a lot can still go, that still happen after birth. So you want to ensure that, yes, you are medically covered. You want to ensure that you are also legally protected. Yes, that's whatever it is, both of you has agreed on, yes, that, you know, it is being done. Okay, so these are few things to just look out for in a contract.
Okay. So this, can I?
Go ahead, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so this particular person talked about asking for accommodation. Is that a normal thing to ask for her accommodation to be paid for? Is that something that you do in the outfit? Is that something you encourage that people should ask for?
Yes, I do. I do. It's something I would also recommend, because when you're doing surrogacy, or if you're a surrogate mother, for that period of 9 months, you need all the comforts that you should get. Okay, so for instance, if you have problem with your accommodation, your intended parent should sort it out for you. Okay, and some intended parents would also want their surrogate mother to live very well during that program. So it is not too much or out of place to get accommodation, to have accommodation allowance, to have wardrobe allowance, to have feeding allowance, transportation allowance. You know, all these allowances are there during this program to make life easier for the surrogate mother.
Why do you think a lot of women want to do surrogacy? What are some of the reasons you've seen has led them to want to do surrogacy?
Well, first thing is the medical aspect of it. A lot of women truly has medical need for surrogacy. For instance, some women are born without womb. Yes, and that's how God has created them. This set of women would need a surrogate mother. That's if they don't want to go into adoption. Then we also have some women that, you know, maybe during cesarean section or whatever operation they have done in the past,
they're not able to carry.
Yeah, their womb has even been removed. Some had, what's it called, hysterectomy to remove the womb, you know. So this set of women, if they still have their ovaries and desire to have children, they can still make use of their eggs, their husband's sperm, and, you know, use a surrogate mother to have their baby. Then some other women have series of miscarriages and they're tired. I've met someone that has had 10, 11 miscarriages, you know, so they're just tired to experience all this again, and they feel using surrogate mother would, you know, give them that edge. And yes, I quite know a lot of them that, you know, that was the turning, that really made a whole lot of difference for them. Then, of course, fibroids is there. A lot of women have had series of fibroid surgery done, and these surgeries have a way, you know, later affected their womb, creating scars and all that. You know. So this set of women would also need to use a surrogate mother.
In this lady's case, I read between the lines. I felt that maybe she had been a very demanding, overly demanding surrogate. And she was stressing the intended parents. That's why they've cut her off. You know, how do you stop like that kind of demand from the parents? Because she said she asked for 40,000. They were giving her, they told her to stay in the hospital for a while.
They abandoned her there.
She says they abandoned her, but if you read the story,
the story is not so...
it's not too straightforward.
It's not too straightforward. There is more to that story. I can tell as well that there is more to that story. Okay, maybe, yes, like you have said, she's overly demanding. Okay. So that's one of the things that comes with doing non-surrogacy. Like I said, I'm an advocacy of Anonymous. Okay. So there is nothing that can be done. They would have just managed very well.
So surrogacy in African Magic would just end with the girl coming back to say, I'm not doing it. There was a particular movie, the AMVC's lead actress acted, where she had committed to doing surrogacy. She had even given the child. But when her husband now passed, she now said no.
She wants the child back.
This child, I don't think it's your. You look like my husband, because that night, you know, something.
We did something.
Is it possible, you know, that this happens in real life? Have you seen any of these comedies when it comes to this?
All those Nollywood and Hollywood stories. It doesn't really happen in real life.
Oh, really?
That's the truth.
Oh, wow. So it's fiction.
Yes, it is. Do you understand? That is, anyway, let me not say it doesn't, but, you know, if you use a surrogacy agency like ours, there is no way it will happen. Yeah. Do you understand? But if you use a known person as a surrogate mother,
anything can happen.
Or you do an arrangement yourself.
Anything,
your friend. Another comedy. Don't vex. Is it possible that the child had birth mark, the same place the mother has, and she sees it?
I think I've watched that movie.
It's possible because, you know, these things, we might take them, but you see them.
But there's DNA now.
Okay, so the thing is that, you know, there are two types of surrogacy.
Okay.
The gestational surrogacy, where the surrogate mother's eggs are not used. Then we now have the traditional surrogacy, where the surrogate mother's eggs are used. Okay, it's either she had sex or they do IUI. IUI means intrauterine insemination. So they take the husband's sperm and inject into the surrogate mother. So that means that biologically,
she's the mother.
Genetically, she's the mother of the baby.
That one is risky. You should not cause that to take your husband.
Hey!
That's not what we're discussing.
It's that one that is worrying you.
It's not Thursday. It's not Thursday. We're discussing health issues.
It's part of health issues.
I just want to ask, for your outfit, do you come across people and you think maybe mentally or emotionally they should not be surrogates, or intending parents wanting to use surrogate? Have you ever sat with a couple and think, after listening to them, you think, I don't think surrogacy is for you because of where you are mentally and your mindset? Do you come across them, and how do you deal with them?
Okay. The truth is that I've learned my lesson in all these years that I've been doing surrogacy. Maybe I've probably had one or two intended parents that I wished I never had. Yes.
They stressed you out.
How?
Like having somebody, your surrogate just gave birth, and the surrogate mother landed in a complication, and this fellow just said, that's all, the contract has ended.
Oh, no.
Without any compassion.
And she did not even call back to ask
how the lady was.
Yes. Oh. So that kind of person, I think, you know, probably, although I started doing psychological evaluation now for both, not even the surrogate mother alone, the intending parents, because I don't think it's a normal thing for somebody to carry pregnancy for you, because it could have been you.
Yeah. Yes.
If you hear a lot of use
and dump mentality to just walk out.
Women that carry pregnancy by themselves, and you know something happened eventually. So why would you say the contract ended?
Oh no.
So we took care of this lady. As I'm talking to you, I'm still taking care of her. So she developed some issues, but thank God she's okay. She's okay now. You know, but you know, comparing to where we were coming from, oh no.
This doesn't
But
happen
please,
anymore.
is there a
But there are
reasonable...
sorry, let me just ask. It's based off of something I know personally. How about surrogate intending parents after receiving the children? Are unable to show them the love and care a biological
They're not
parent
attached.
is. So is there a way to see before then that this kind of parent may not connect with a child that has been given birth via surrogacy?
Well, I think I understand what you were saying, but the truth is, for each intending parent I come across, I try to educate them. Some have a notion of what their baby should look like.
Oh, wow.
Like,
How do you have a notion of what your baby
do you
is?
understand? Do you understand? So you will tell me, I want my baby to be fair. I want my baby to be dark. I want twins. I want this.
Yes.
I want that. You know, so I get to hear all that. And when I see that kind of inquiries, I
It's a red
Take yourself
flag,
away
right?
from...
no, I didn't. I educate them better.
Okay.
The fact that we use a fair person's donor's egg with your husband's sperm, and your husband is chocolate or dark, doesn't mean the baby would turn out to be...
Go bleach am.
We have a caller, please. Let me pause you now. Before we start bleaching the children. Peter from Abuja, I guess. Good morning, Peter.
Hello, good morning, Lucy and the lady.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, the lady was talking about an undisclosed surrogacy. So the question I want to ask is, we were told that it's very important when a woman is pregnant that she should be close to her husband. So what happened in the process when she's pregnant? What then happened when she's not meeting the partner as the man? So that's what I want to find out.
Thank you for your question. Very brilliant one.
Yes.
I should answer that.
No, we didn't hear her.
No.
You did, okay.
No, please.
I think what I heard him
So what he's trying to say, you know, when you're pregnant, married couple,
All the
they'll
lie
say it's
women
time-
have told.
Wait, that
I've
it's
caught up with
let
them.
me
All the lies
explain
women
it to
have
her.
told.
So they'll say be with your husband. In fact, sometimes when it's
woman
about
needs her
labor
husband.
period, they'll say if you don't meet with the husband, it
makes
takes
it
longer.
difficult, yeah.
But when you meet with your husband, it makes it easier. So he's asking for a surrogate mother. Who is she going to be meeting with to aid this?
all those notions, please just
not true.
try and erase them. Crying out loud.
They like
You
to
still work
us.
for some. Work
Just try and erase them, you know. So, the surrogate mother, by our own, you know, we try to even encourage them not to say off sex during this program.
So they don't contaminate the
It's not even
egg.
number one is the fact that we don't want to have a DNA issue at hand. Do you understand? So sex is a no-going area as far as this
For
period
9
is
For
concerned.
9 months.
Yeah. So for instance, if I meet a surrogate mother and I ask you, what's your body count? How regular do you have sex? And
So nobody will tell you their body count.
no, one said, I can't do without sex. And I said, sorry, we can work with you. Yeah.
So these are the questions you asked.
Yeah.
I was
So
going to
you
ask
said a DNA, sorry, Nima, you said a DNA issue. What would cause a DNA issue? Because, okay, she's already pregnant, and then she has a boyfriend, and she wants to meet that boyfriend. What would cause the DNA? The DNA will not enter inside the baby now, because she's already pregnant.
Why have you not heard?
But this is live television.
Why have you not heard of those twins that they
Split.
Yes, that two different
Fathers.
sperms, two different fathers
Fertilize them.
fertilize eggs.
It happens.
Anything could
Is that what you're saying? Is that
Of course.
It happens
Anything
medically.
Anything could happen during the first 6 weeks, first 9 weeks.
okay? If she wants to have sex 3 months
if she
after,
wants to, yes. But however,
But she shouldn't.
who is
Somebody's
your
baby.
partner?
Yeah.
Have we screened him? Do you understand?
Sexually
So it has to be a surrogate
It's-
partner.
You have to be pure.
And
good
we don't,
energy too.
We don't work
Bolognoshi.
with married surrogate mother, for instance, at Meet Surrogate Mothers.
Okay.
We don't work with married surrogate mother because she's going to deny her husband from having sex
For 9 months.
for 9 months. So
Embarrassing.
So you mentioned, that,
That's a lot of work.
a parent had
scary.
abandoned immediately a complicated surrogate mother post-birth. And I'm wondering, what are the reasonable period of time, in the contract that you can include that they must keep in touch and, provide further after
it's
birth?
even in the contract. Do you understand? 6 months is in the contract. She's signed. But it's just that, you know, I'm on a very cool side, so I don't want to take any legal issue. Or, you know, I
just let it go.
I just let it go.
Yeah, but let's
But going forward, you have things.
When you take the
make
call, I have a
like
question.
that.
Yeah.
It's there in the contract already.
Yeah.
Do you
We
understand?
have Tony from Bielsa. Good morning, Tony. Good morning, Tony. The line is not clear. Okay, let's get in your question.
Yes, I was going to ask, someone like me, for instance, I've had menopause, so I do not think I have egg anymore. So would someone be able to be a surrogate for me if I decided I wanted a child, which I don't want to? I'm just asking for conversation purpose. One, if I decided I wanted a child. Number two, could I be a surrogate?
No, you cannot be a surrogate.
How will you carry it?
Because
I still have womb.
we have required
The womb has retired.
for a surrogate
The womb
mother.
has retired.
Yes, you're not menstruating again.
No.
How will you feed the baby?
It's not even feeding the baby.
No, you don't feed the baby.
No, how will you?
This is now. Let the experts. It is how is she going to get pregnant? That's number one. She's not menstruating again. Do you understand? Okay. Although the fact that you're not menstruating again doesn't mean
that you can't get pregnant.
Yeah.
Oh,
But,
dear, that's not good
you
news.
need to go through some medical.
I can scatter her hormones. She'll just get young again.
And then put her on some
any jump
therapy.
across the
Some
fence.
hormonal time. HRT, you
get
get on the
belay on
HRT therapy. You know, that would help your womb at least to take your womb back to the normal size. Then you can now do IVF using third party.
Yeah.
No magic.
You know.
All right, we have to go. Let's take your final words. What advice do you have for people out there, like me, who want surrogacy?
Of course,
I won't mind, but
use
You want to be the surrogate?
No.
Or you want someone to surrogate for you?
I want someone to surrogate for me.
Okay.
But Mr. Man has not agreed. He still wants me to carry it. So what advice would you give to?
Of course, use a reliable surrogacy agency.
Okay.
So don't venture into this yourself.
Or with a friend?
Or with a friend, or with a family, or just go anonymous. That's the best thing.
Well done.
All right.
Well done.
Thank you so much for joining us on the show. We have been talking to a fertility counselor, Olaronke Thaddeus, giving us an insight into the surrogacy issue. And that's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, we move on to yet another segment. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We've had different cases of medical negligence on the part of nurses, especially just recently a child was lost due to negligence and the incompetence of nurses. The professional nursing practice and standards of competency in Nigeria has been questioned severally because of these issues. Joining us to discuss this is Adiola Adetukumbo, Assistant Director of Nursing Service working with Lagos State Health Service Commission. You're welcome to the show, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Yes. So we've had different, some of us have actually experienced some of these things. Negligence on one hand, nurses, lack of care on the other hand. Of course, we have some very good nurses who know their onions and have the emotional capacity to do their job, right? But we have many of them as well who don't even understand. And because of one of these things, I have a personal experience myself on this issue. You know, the child gets either hurt, some other people get to lose their loved ones because of this. What can you say is happening in our system? And I know that a lot of people try to blame the fact that the nurses are not paid well, this is happening, the conditions of work are not so good, and that's what is affecting the nurses. But I would like you to speak to that.
Thank you very much. I would say that's not an excuse. We all took an oath in school to save life. And if you cannot save that life, don't injure more. Don't cause more harm. I hope you understand. Yes. So saying workload, working conditions, they actually could have aided your practice. But that shouldn't mean you should not do your job as a nurse. Because we all have our professional ethics. There are standard of rules, standard of practice that has to be followed. And every nurse must follow it. If you don't, you hear there are punishments available for such nurses. And most times when we talk about nurse, this she's a nurse, there's a nurse, that's a nurse, I wonder, are they really nurses? Because in this part of the world, a lot of people, you know, they come because they wear white, they've been in a private hospital. You will agree with me that recently, one of the doctors caught somewhere in Ikodu performing surgery, who is just a secondary school holder.
Yes, I remember the story.
So that's how you have them in nursing. They don't have the required education. They don't have the required knowledge. Neither do they have the skill. And because they feel, oh, this is what they do, I can do it. It's true, you can do it, but that does not make you a professional. Because when things goes wrong, what do you do in the case of emergency? That's what makes you a professional.
So there are several kinds of nurses we used to hear. Auxiliary day, chemist nurse, mommy nurse, auntie nurse. You know, please categorize which one is professional.
Yeah.
It's important.
You have the right. You have the right as an individual, as a Nigerian citizen, to ask whoever wants to attend to you or who is attending to any of your relatives to be sure if such person is a nurse. A nurse is one who has the required education, have the knowledge, have the skill, have the competency to practice as a nurse, and he or she has been licensed, licensed by the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria. Anyone who calls him or herself a nurse and is without the Nursing and Midwifery license is not a nurse, because you must be licensed. Though we can't go about with our practicing license, but you can have a copy.
Yeah.
You can have a copy like we have.
If I walk into a hospital and you're wearing white,
how will I know?
You're in the nursing station.
Yeah.
In fact,
I will not be
even
asking.
driving you if every time you go to hospital, where is your certificate?
Yeah.
I believe
Shouldn't the hospital be... So I think the question now would be, how is it possible that hospitals would employ nurses who are not qualified nurses?
Now, let me make some clarification. If you are using a government hospital, you know government don't encourage quackery.
Yeah.
So you don't find a quack. So anyone you find in a government establishment
Is qualified.
is qualified.
Okay.
Such nurses are licensed. Now, if we move down to private-owned hospital, that's where the problem comes. Depending on how your capacity is. If you go to those big private hospitals where they could afford to pay
the
nurse,
qualified nurses.
the qualified nurses, you will find them.
Okay.
You may find other staff as auxiliary staff, but the main person that will attend to you will be a qualified nurse. Now, when we move down to our community and locality, please, we need to be careful where we take our relatives. That's where the problems comes in.
I was going to ask, because sometimes it's not just the competence. Sometimes you meet a qualified nurse and she does not have a good bedside manner.
Yeah.
She's
emotional.
completely, you know, I mean, I remember when I was giving birth, the nurse there, I mean, I was in pain. She would just be saying from far, sorry, you. She would watch me crawling to the toilet. She would not even escort me.
Wow.
And I'm sure she was qualified. So you meet the qualified ones who don't do their job properly.
Well, you have the right. You have the right to, you know, to complain. You have the right to sue. You have the right for your own health, because she's trained to give that service. So you have the right to ask why she's not giving the service she has been trained for.
When you're in pain, you will not be thinking about that.
After the whole scenario, when you've given birth, well, no.
So how do we avoid having qualified nurses who do not have the emotional empathy to go with the job? right? There were a few nurses I remembered growing up because at some point I was sick a lot, and you know, they would take me to the Federal Medical Center that was in Delta State, Asaba at the time. And there was one particular nurse that stood out who would talk to me, would look at my face, you know, sing for me. I was a child. I can never forget that nurse's face. I can't remember her name anymore. But that care stood out for me. And we had other people. In fact, any day we go to the hospital and she's not on duty, my grandma will be calling, "Where are you? Please come. We need you. We need you to come." You know, because I would not want to see another nurse because of the way they would talk. Okay, go there, do this, do that, do that. There was no care. And they were all qualified, Federal Medical Center. So how do we ensure as a body that while they are getting their training and competence to do their job, they are also getting that emotional empathy as part of the training? It's a must, and it's compulsory for them to be able to be effective. And how do we check them before we sign them out for work that they have hit that benchmark, aside from just the competence?
You know, nursing is not just a classroom thing. It's not. That's where we are trained how to empathize with patients. So we go to the classroom, and at the same time, you're on the field. You interact with patients. There is interpersonal relationship. So your supervisor, your clinical instructors will watch out for all this. You agree with me that in all disciplines, they are the bad ones. But I want to say that we have more good nurses than the bad nurses. But the few that are the ones that people will actually cry and shout. But you have the good ones. Like, if I look at, recently something happened where I'm actually working. A man cannot afford to get the wife's medication. And I saw some nurses coming to me that, Ogami, your son has just been discharged recently and you went on with some of these antibiotics. We have a patient upstairs. Can you bring them? That's part of empathy.
Yeah.
Okay, when we said, they're going to pay, the nurse said, well, when she's sitting down, somebody will send somebody, you know, somewhere to come and pay. We have those nurses. But the few ones that are actually tarnishing the image of nurses are the ones that are on social medias. But the good ones, we have them. You will agree with me.
Like that one that was taking picture.
During delivery.
With her pregnant patient.
Are you serious? I didn't see that.
It was on social media.
It on the show.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. So let's...
I must
be taking a short break. Okay.
Sorry.
When we come back, we continue the conversation. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back. We're still having the conversation on nurses and also negligence in some of the hospitals. But YK had a statement.
Yeah, no, I was just going to talk about when I took Temidire to a hospital in Ikeja. When he came, he had injured himself. And the nurse, I took him to the first one. They were incompetent. I removed him. I took him to this one, and the nurse was so emotional. She was so nice. She was talking to him, you know, and even when she was giving him pain, he would say, "Why are you giving me pain?" She was crying. Oh, I felt so, even me, I started crying because she was so emotional. That is a nurse. You know, but the nurse that will be frowning.
So, Ma, what is the standard? What is the standard? So, is a nurse required to wear a smiling face before she touches her patient?
Cry with your patient.
Or cry with them? Is it, what's the professional standard?
I love them.
Crying is not a standard of practice.
We don't want cry,
talk about empathy.
Yes.
You always put yourself in the place of the patient, that if I'm the one who is on bed, if I'm the one who is passing through this, what will I do? So the nurse is expected to be professional. Not to have a hard face, because the way your courage should bring healing. Your touch should bring healing. Your words should bring healing and hope to the patient. So nurses are not expected to wear long faces, frown, shout, be touchy, and start being nasty. You understand? But nurses are firm. So that you'll be able to follow their instruction and do what you are asked to do. They are firm. They may not just play with you and say,
That
okay.
firmness, some nurses, okay, I stayed in the general hospital for 6 months during a pregnancy bed rest. And one nurse thought firmness is to be a prefect. Sit down. You know, and I was not in a good emotional state because I feared losing my baby throughout that stay. But another nurse stood out for me because she just sort of knew that I needed, you know. So she's firm too. Your baby is not allowed to visit you. This is not better, but you should come and, are you okay?
Yeah.
You know, so what's the difference?
That's firmness. That's telling the patient the right thing. Encourage them to do it. Madam, it's 8 hours after surgery. Can you sit up? You assist. That's me. You are being firm. But it's for the good of the patient. You know that patient, when she's getting up or when he's the pain will be there. But you don't look at the pain. You look at the gain. So because of the gain, you encourage the pain. So that's just being firm. But being nasty is not being firm.
All right, Miriam.
It's not firmness at all.
Okay, so as a daughter of a nurse, raised by a nurse, I have only wonderful things to say about nurses. I've seen many beautiful, wonderful nurses.
Thank you.
But that does not take away the fact that there are nurses who have acted, you know, away from what the profession, you know, asks of these nurses. And so my question is, what are the disciplinary measures that have been put in place to prevent nurses from acting a certain way? And what bodies do nurses, what like the nursing body has to, you know, sort of vet hospitals and see the sort of nurses that they are employing, making sure that these are nurses who are qualified and not just anyone that can take any amount of money to come and work for them.
Hold our response, ma. I'll come to that. We have a caller, Cash. Good morning, Mr. Cash.
Hello.
Are you there?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm good morning. How are you, all of you?
We're fine.
Yeah, I want to contribute to this program. Anyway, let me thank your guest. She's very, very educated, and professionalism is very, very good. She has already explained everything I want to say. And I like Sister Yemi as well. All of you, anyway, you contributed a lot. And your guest has said all I need to mention. And she's very, very, professional. And whatever she mentioned, just try to listen to her. And I really commend her as well. And I really commend all of you. So, because it's a fatal issue that we have to try to enlighten the public about it. So that's what I just want to say. And before I go...
Thank you so much. Yes, but we are responding to the measures she asked about.
Yes, I said, you know, initially when I started talking, I said we have a body that controls our education, our practice, our skills. So that same body, that is the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria, has the right to punish every hairy nurses if reported. You know they cannot be everywhere, but if reported and investigations are carried out and she's found guilty, of course there are measures. And that's why I said every registered nurses or professional nurses would not just do anything anyhow because their license is at stake. That's where I fit from. That's what makes me a mother. You understand? It's part of me. It's my life. And I let it go just like that because I failed to do what I've been taught to do. So the license is at stake. It could be a temporary withdrawal. It could be a permanent one, depending on the weight of, you understand, the offense. So the Nursing and Midwifery Council has the obligation to sanction every nurse, even before you get to that level. In every organization, there are supervisors.
Okay.
They can put on a panel for such nurses, you know. If found guilty, it's either they tell her they no longer need a service in that organization, or they just measure some kind of punishment to serve as deterrent to others. I hope we understand. Yeah. So nurses just don't behave anyhow. But because you know something is at stake, there are code of ethics we need to follow. You just don't. You don't.
So, Ma, what happens when there's a conflict between your duty and that of a doctor? So recently we had a guest on our show whose wife had died while trying to give birth, and he said that at the hospital only the nurses were on call. The doctor kept phoning and giving instructions. At what point does a nurse defer? At this point, it's no longer a nurse's duty to the doctor.
Yes, that could only happen in a private hospital, like you said, where the doctor will be at home giving instructions.
Yes, they do that a lot.
To the nurses on duty. You know, it's their business. And the nurses are the employee. So they obey their boss. You understand? So they are allowed to do everything. But the standard of nursing, we all have our limitations.
Exactly.
The nurses know their limitations. The doctors know their limitations. The nurses know when a doctor should be called. And the doctors know when a nurse called, there is a problem. He does not wait. Because we both collaborate. And you will agree with me that in all hospital settings, the two people that actually work on the patients are the nurses and the doctors. Yes. Others, you know, have other things to contribute. But the main people are the... And that's why most times there are frictions. Oh, I asked you to do this, you do this, I call you, you didn't answer on time. And because of the patient, and nurses are patient advocates. Sometimes you take it personal. Yeah. That if this person is your relative, we will delay, and that's what brings friction. Apart from the job issues, nothing more. So everybody has its limitation. But in a private hospital also, there are documentations that could save a head of a nurse, even while working for a boss. And the boss is a doctor, you're right. Yeah. So that when your organization comes up and say, what have you done? Then there will be, you know, an evidence of what you have done, how far you have gone. Most of the private hospitals are not ready for emergencies. What killed that woman was because there were no preparation for emergency. A good hospital must be proactive. In case I operate this woman and she's bleeding, do we have a blood bank? In case I operate,
do we have oxygen?
Do we have oxygen? Do we have things to keep her alive? But we don't consider, you know, there are, like you said, there are laws, but they are not enforced. And the manpower to enforce such laws are not much. Look at the population of Lagos State. How many places will the farmer get to? So it's the public that will help them.
So like that hospital now, shouldn't they have been sanctioned? Even assuming best case scenario, they're not guilty. Shouldn't there have been, because the guy has not been silent. He has been going everywhere, he has given interviews, but till now, right up to this, as far as I know, there have been no sanctions against the doctors or the nurses. They are allowed to continue to be...
Well, I will not actually say I disagree or I agree with you, because we don't work in that agency and we don't know actually what is going on, the paperwork going on. You can't just, without doing investigation and just take laws into your hands. Investigations has to be carried out. So I believe something is still being done, and both parties involved, the government will have called them to a round table to hear that part of the stories. So let's still watch and see the outcome.
Let's talk about Gen Z nurses, for instance, right? See how you're looking now. no makeup, well taken care of. Now we have a crop of nurses who are very young, who want to wear the makeup, they want to wear the nails, they want to wear the long hairs while at work. How are you people accepting it, and how has it been so far?
It's not part of the standard of practice. You may look the way you want before putting on your uniform. But the moment you put on your uniform, that makes you a nurse immediately.
Or once pretty-looking nurses?
No matter the hair you are carrying, it must not touch your neck. So even this one, I pack up. Because that's the standard.
No makeup?
You can, but it must be very, very moderate. Not the one that will be shouting.
Not wedding makeup.
No.
Makeup.
And your nails must be short.
No, your nails must be short. Because even for your own good, if you carry long nails, then you carry germs home. You infect yourself. You know, we talk about hospital-acquired infections. So you touch patients, you touch surfaces. So you take home infection, you infect. So for your own good, it's better your nails are just short and clean. So that when you have dirt under them, it will be visible.
Wow.
Paint, Uncle.
That's why I said they must
be short.
Plain, short and plain.
Okay.
So that when you have...
You're not allowed to paint colors?
No,
colors?
No, on your... That's your fingernails, no. But you can do that on your
toenails. Oh, okay. Now, what about the nurses that take care of old people? We've had some, reports that sometimes they are not very caring towards these old people. They just, push them around and all of that. Does your body pay attention to some?
Well, the people who did geriatric nursing, we call them geriatric nurses. Yeah. They are actually trained. But the few ones I see on the social media recently are caregivers. They are not nurses.
Oh.
Yes, they are caregivers. Caregivers are quite different. They are just trained to take care of the old people.
They are not nurses.
They are not nurses. But the nurses who work in old people's home, they are actually trained. And they are there for preventive, so that they don't get infection. If they have, they are there to promote their health. They are there to rehabilitate. They are there to reassure. You understand? And there are other people working with them. You understand? But the qualified nurses are not the ones who see on social media pushing the old people. One fell, one hit his head, and when we went through, they are just caregivers.
So nursing seems like such a tough job.
Yeah,
it is.
And I would like to ask you personally, if you find joy from nursing, and what gives you that joy?
Well, I would say I'm a born nurse. I love what I'm doing. When I became a nurse, I just love it and I went into it. Really, I wanted to be in the hospital setting. But actually, I don't know what I really wanted to do. I later decided to do dentistry, and my cutoff point for JAMB was not really meeting up. Somebody said, but you want to work in the hospital. Do you like being a nurse? I said, okay, will I work with people? She said, yes, and that was how I was introduced. And I find joy from a student nurse. And I've been working, like I said, for over 22, almost 25 years. I left school, and I've always enjoyed every bit of it because I always have somebody to talk to. I have somebody to give hope to. I have somebody to reassure. I have somebody to monitor. I have somebody to hear good news from. I have somebody to empathize with.
You love your job.
Well done. You have brought me to my next
question.
Problem with nurses.
Okay.
When my sister was dying, the hospital, the nurses, instead of treating my sister, they were praying.
Hi. Same happened to me.
I don't understand.
They were praying for her. I mean, already, she's in a bad state.
Okay.
I believe that even if you want to pray for her, pray in your mind, not to the patient that is dying. A lot of hospitals do that. They leave the work because what you are doing, you are supposed to be providing her care.
Oh, this is our country.
Not sitting down and praying for her. I walked into her room one day. She was really upset. She was visibly upset. She was dying already.
Ew.
And you are sitting down there and you are praying for her. I was upset.
They told me to speak in tongues. Yeah. No, sir. Madam, maybe you can speak into
What do we do about these complaints? There are many.
No, they have conflicts in their roles because they are not allowed. You can actually pray inside of you that, wow, there are some conditions that you know they are terminal cases, that this patient is going to die. There is no hope. You know, you don't have to bring your religion to your job. You know, most Nigerians are just religious.
I was going to ask, you know, earlier, apart from my experience, apart from, you know, midwives, nurses just, you know, sort of help you to manage your pills, take your vitals, you know, their care is not really that as intrusive as that of a doctor. And what exactly would a midwife even do that it makes her come into a patient, you know, help to deliver, touch her and all of that? What's the difference between that?
Well, like I said, everybody has their roles. All roles are unique. There is no one that what he or she does is irrelevant. For a midwife, when you talk about, you know, vaginal deliveries, they owns it. You don't see a doctor coming to take vaginal delivery, except there are complications.
Use them?
For induction, you get the doctor to assess. You know, the work of the doctor is more of curative. So you get them to assess, okay, this patient can no longer continue in labor all by herself. We need to assist. So they can do that while the midwives continue to monitor until the delivery is achieved. But for touching, for hearing, for heartbeat, for checking your tummy, for checking you from head to toe, monitoring your diet, monitoring your vitals, making sure everything about you is okay for the baby, it's the work of the nurse. You know, I think in the 80s then, or early 90s, where nurses also, the midwives, they are allowed to have their midwives clinic, if you ask me. Yeah. Before things overrule it. That's what they do. It's only patients who you envisage that, look, vaginal delivery, like I said, will not be okay. Then you will make a referral. So everybody has their own role and their part to play in the care of the patients.
Thank you so much, Ma, for joining us on the show today. We really enjoyed your insights, and I hope that everybody's watching. Now we know how to hold our nurses accountable, and we hope that the bad ones will be fished out so that they stop spoiling the names of nurses. We believe that we have very good nurses who love their job, who care for their patients, and who we love to see from time to time.
Thank you.
That's all we can take on the show today. Thank you, ladies. We'll see you guys again tomorrow. Bye-bye now.